Hey y'all, it's me Cody. I hope you are doing well. Today, I always forget to say this, but today is October 24th, 2015. This is episode number 19 of the Cody Knits podcast. Welcome. If you are new or returning, I hope you enjoy the podcast. Today might be a little bit, weird, because I have a little bit of a cold. And so yeah. But anyway, my name is Cody. I am on YouTube here as the Cody Knits Podcast. I'm on Instagram as nurse_Cody. And on Ravelry, I am on my personal Ravelry. It's Cody Knits. And then there's a Ravelry group for the Cody Knits Podcast. I usually post like this video there and things like that. So yeah, so like I said, this is episode 19 already, and this week I've been I had I had clinic on Monday and class all day on Tuesday, and then I've been off, which has been kind of nice. I haven't been as productive as I had planned to be, because I've been not really feeling that great. The cold kind of thing. But I took some medicine and used my inhaler, and hopefully I can make it through this podcast without sneezing all over you or having to blow my nose 500 million times. So yeah. Right now I am drinking a smoothie. I kind of lost my appetite. Just nothing really tastes good. So even my smoothie isn't that great, but I know I need the vitamins and the nutrients so that my body can, boost the immune system a little bit. So I have in there a handful of spinach. I have frozen strawberries, some frozen blueberries, a banana, some protein powder, and a little bit of milk. I think that's it. But it's pretty good. So yeah, I also have a cup of coffee in case I need something warm. Um, it's sitting on my candle warmer so that it doesn't get cold. Anyway, this is about knitting, and that's why you're here. But first, well, that kind of goes with it. I got some mail this week. Super excited. The first thing I got was from Miss D, and she sent me some lovely tea, which couldn't have come at a better time because all I'm really drinking right now is hot stuff. So tea is perfect. This is Twining's Golden, that word. This is really good. It says light with a subtle sweetness, and this is really good to have just by itself with a little honey, and that's been really nice for my throat. And she also sent me this, which I've already opened, some signature chocolate, cranberry and raspberry dark chocolate. Oh, and it is so good. I've been eating like a little block of it at a time, and it's so good. Trying not to let Diamond get it. And I also got a package from Zoe from 24 Karat Crochet. So I was looking on her Etsy shop, and she had one of her goodies, and I was like, I either want to make myself one, by the pattern, or I want that one, and I really like the one in the picture, so I told her I wanted it, and she happened to be in the States this week, or this past weekend, for Rhinebeck. And so she waited to mail it to me when she got here in the States, so it'd be cheaper. So she mailed it to me from New York. And let me just show you. It came in this cute little thing, baggy thing. But, sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. I still think I might. And it's not because of this. But, no wonder. Okay, you put it on correctly. Yes. And then you can be all bundled up under your coat. This would be great for walking diamond when it's cold. And if it decides to, freeze over in ice like it did, that last year or the year before that, where everybody got abandoned in their own cars and stuff here in Atlanta because we don't get snow and ice often enough for the state to invest in things to prep the roads or scrape the roads and things like that. And so a lot of people made fun of us because no one knows how to drive in it, but we're here in the South and we don't get that very often. Some of it is people's ignorance and not knowing how to drive and doing stupid stuff. Yeah, it's just, but some of it is, I think the reason why it was so bad that time was because, we just aren't prepared for things like that. So, and if you, like, anytime they say that there's going to be, like, it might snow or might have ice, I mean, the milk and the bread are gone from every store, every gas station, anywhere that has it is gone in like an hour. People just go and snatch that stuff up. So, anyway, this is it. And it's so soft and squishy. Oh, and I got my hair cut yesterday, and since I put that on, you can't really kind of mess it up. It was so funny because sorry, I'm going off on a little tangent, but this little lady, I'll show you this, I'm telling you. This little lady that was cutting my hair was telling me about, we were talking about my hair growing back so quickly, and I made a comment. I said I wish it would grow more up here, and then she's telling me how dry my hair is, and I need to use conditioner. And then she said, you can get a shampoo that stimulates hair growth, and she said, and it's best if you start doing it now when your hair is just a little thin, and instead of waiting till it's all gone. And I said, well, okay. So she suckered me into getting some of this stuff, and it actually smells really good, and it feels really good on my head when I was washing it. So who knows? I just thought I'd throw that out there so I can look back and see, is there a difference? Sorry. Okay, but I love this. I cannot wait to actually need to use that. And she also is so awesome and sent me some Revels. And these are amazing. I have been restraining myself from just eating the whole entire bag at once because they're that good. I just love them. I don't know. We don't have these here, like most of you know, in the States. So I was really excited to get that. And she also gave me this little progress keeper / zipper pull. Isn't it cute? So that was nice. Anyway, so that's that for mail. Well, I got a yarn box, but I'll show you that in a little bit. I only have one finished object, and that's this hat. It's called the Big Cozy Hat. It was from Knit Picks. Um, it's supposed to be kind of beanie style, which it's still kind of small. I mean, I knit it how they said in the directions, but this is more of a kid size beanie, I think. So, I'm probably gonna make another one and do it a little bit bigger. But actually, I think I like the hat I made, the black and white one from the last time, called the big hat, or yeah, the big hat by Sheep and Stitch, I believe. I think I like it better. But I really like knitting chunky yarn for hats. I like knitting that or using that to knit hats. It knits up quickly, and to be honest, I don't know what else you would really use a super bulky yarn for. I guess you could knit a cowl or something like that, but I really like doing the hats, so it's whatever. So I thought I'd try that one out. Now, oh man, I was supposed to do something. I'll add it. Okay, so someone asked me to show them how I do the center part of my half and half shawl, which and I was going to knit up to the center to show how I do that, and I'll go into that more at the end of the video because I'm gonna want to stop this one and knit up to the center and then add it back in, and I want to just keep going, so I will add a little clip at the end of the video to show how I did this. But this is it. I'm working on the third ball, and I believe once I finish that, I think I'm going to be finished with this shawl. And I was going to put in 4 balls at least, but I mean, it's big enough, and there's over 300 stitches on this. And I'm just ready for it to come off the needles, to be honest, because I really want to cast on another shawl. Actually, I want to cast on the Duchess of Devonshire shawl by Kay Jones. Kay Jones. They're on vacation this week, I believe. And I'm super excited. If you don't know yet, they reached their milestone #1. So, and that says their future is secure. So we got a lot of perks from that, and but it also means that they can continue podcasting and doing such amazing work and still pay their bills, and that's important because you gotta live. And they really stepped out kind of on faith, and tried and on this new kind of adventure journey leg of their life, and it's really cool to see it all play out, and I'm so happy that I get to be a part of that. So yeah, anyway. So that's my half and half shawl. So I guess we're in whips, if I didn't say that. It's half and half by somebody. You'd think I would know this by now, but I don't remember. It's Irish Knit Cat Design. Hannah, did it say Hannah? Jane Irish Nelson. That's what it's going to look like. Mine's going to be pretty much like that. That picture at the top actually has looks like a ribbed edging. Welted ruffle border is what it says. I might do that. That would be cool, right? I've never done it, and I like trying new things and doing new techniques, and that could be fun. And it's included in the pattern. How to do it. Oh, I'm knitting these on size US 8 carbon, interchangeable. And the yarn, sorry, is Encore Tweed from Plymouth Yarn. Whoops. Company. It's like an oatmeal. It's 75% acrylic, 22% wool, 3% rayon. It's perfect for my mom. She actually picked it out. It's soft. It's gonna be warm, but it's not gonna be scratchy. For her, and it's gonna be easy for her to care for. My mom is not going to stand in a sink and wash something by hand. So with this, she can, put it in the washing machine and then just let it air dry or whatever. And she can do that. She can handle that. I think she doesn't like to do laundry, but I don't know many people who do. Next, this is a bag that Erin made me from some yarn from some fabric that I sent her. Ooh, I can't show you what's in this one. Sorry. I can show you the yarn. So it's a test knit. That's why I can't show you. And this might look familiar to you. It's the same yarn that I knit my Mrs. Bakery Bear in. I bought 2 skeins of it, and someone asked me to test knit a pattern for them, and it actually called for a DK weight. This is technically called worsted, but to me, it's a lot like, to me, this is worsted. I don't know if you can tell how thick it is. And this, let's see if I can figure out a way to show it. Those are clearly 2 different sizes. So I figured this is more like a DK-ish weight, and it's actually working out pretty good for this gauge. Gauge isn't super important in this test net, but it is a little bit. So yeah, but it's a beautiful pattern. I cannot wait to show it to you. Actually, I'm almost done, so. But I don't want to, put it out there until the designer does and publishes the pattern. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let me find the pattern, because I have a pattern somewhere. Oh, here it is. Somebody, I'm sorry, I forgot the name. I was gonna go back and look it up, but someone, I had mentioned I needed a pattern to knit this lovely 100% cashmere sport weight yarn. Oh my gosh, I love this stuff. This is amazing. So I got this in my July yarn box subscription. It was Christmas in July is what they called it. So what they suggested was actually this cowl, and I'm so glad they did. It's the Entrelac Rainbow Cowl, and it did have a picture of someone, of one that wasn't in rainbow, and it was like a plain, and this is going to be perfect because it has texture and it's beautiful. It's kind of airy a little bit. So it's something I can actually wear, but that's what it looks like when it's in the pretty color. But this is called the Entrelac Rainbow Cow. Copyright is, let's see, Carol Wells. Yeah. And this has been pretty fun because I've never done entrelac. Some people say entrelac, but I just say entrelac. I don't know if which way is proper, but that's just how I say it. I had no clue what I was really doing. Sorry, my nose is itchy. At first, and I put a picture on Instagram. I was like, I don't know if this is how it's supposed to look, but I've done 3 rows now, and here's what it's looking like. I'm super happy with this. It's I've pretty much memorized the pattern. The pattern's easy once you kind of know, and I've been noticing that I'm getting so much better at um, well, I guess my knitting is becoming a little more intuitive as far as how things should work and that kind of stuff. Like I can read where I am in the pattern based on what I'm seeing, which is pretty neat. But this is what the back looks like, which I think is pretty cool too. So how this is worked is basically you knit a long thingy of it, and then it fits. They um, show you how to connect. So the other end's gonna fit into this end, basically. Sorry. But this is fun if you've never done entrelac or you've been kind of afraid to do it or something. Don't be. This is really cool. Um, it's really not that hard. Expect if you are knitting a memory blanket, like a cozy memory blanket or something. I mean, you can do this because all it is knit and some purl, and you got to pick up some stitches. And if you can pick up stitches for and knit and purl, you can do this. And once you kind of do it, you're like, oh, it makes sense because it's weird because all of them aren't because you're knitting back and forth, you know, but see how they're not all there's spaces in between, and that was what was confusing me. But you're not knitting these. You're knitting when you go around. You're filling in the gap, the spaces. Whoops, sorry. You're filling in these spaces. So and that's what creates this kind of basket weavy, entrelacy, puffy looking thing. And I love this. And this is gonna. I'm still kind of slow. I know the pattern. I'm still kind of slow at it, and some of it is because it was, it's been still this little bit of knitting that I kind of hang on to and finagle. And the yarn is pretty thin. So I think just getting used to, and then the needles are US 2.5, a little bit bigger than what the pattern called for. And the only reason I did that was because this is the smallest ones I have, and I'm having a problem I never thought I would have, and I always wondered why people had so many sets of needles, but I'm running out of needles and cords. I have projects and things that I'm working on, and some things I'm just like these. These are my hats. These are for my hat, and but I don't have any other size US 7 carbon. So, and I knit hats so frequently, and then I do use US 7s on other things a lot, and I'm just finding that I'm running out of needles, and like I don't like having to switch back and forth from one project to another project for the needles. So maybe for Christmas I can buy a different set of needles. Speaking of needles, one thing that I'm learning about myself is the small needles. Carbons don't do it as bad, but like when I was knitting those socks, did I show y'all my socks? Oh, I didn't show. Well, I don't know if I showed them. It says whips on the last episode. Anyway, I'm gonna show you. Look, I know I put a picture up, but I have two socks, and I'm sorry I don't have sock blockers, but I actually enjoyed doing this a lot better the second sock than I did the first one, and I think that's because I kind of had an idea of what I was supposed to do. I've ordered some books, um, which I'll show next time. I've ordered 3 new knitting books. They were on sale, and I had a coupon kind of thing for Amazon, so I bought them. And but yeah, there's these socks. They don't fit me. They are the same size. They fit my aunt perfectly. And so I'm gonna give these to her, and she loved them after she made fun of me for why would somebody want to knit socks. But I was thinking about keeping these because they are my first socks. I don't know. But I may give these to my aunt for Christmas. I mean, they're definitely not perfect, but pretty tight piece of fabric there. But anyway, I was knitting these socks on Knit Pick, like nickel DPN, and the way I hold my knitting needles is kind of like this, and because I grasp the way I grasp the piece down here, these fingers here go numb a lot. And I've been trying, if I hold it like this, instead of like this, it doesn't. Because what it's doing is, here's a little anatomy stuff for you. Numbness and tingling means nerve. So if you have numbness and tingling, like pinpricks and things like that, that's some kind of nerve thing. So basically, it's putting pressure on that area where a nerve is going, and so it's messing up the nerve stuff down to the end of my fingers. And so you know how like if you fall asleep like this on your arm and then your hand's asleep, people think it's like a lack of blood flow, but it's not. You're not cutting off the circulation. Otherwise, your hand will be really cold and blue. You're pinching off a nerve flow. Interesting to know, huh? Because I always, when I was little, was told, you're cutting off your circulation. And it kind of is, but it's not your blood circulation, it's the nerve circulation. But anyway, those the reason I went into all that is the metal particularly caused that numbness and tingling in these fingers. And I've been knitting with my Cozy Memories blanket with wood. They're small too, but I've been knitting it with them, and I don't have as much numbness and tingling in that hand. And I think it's because I don't know if it's that the wood kind of has a little bit of bend in it or something. But I'm thinking about the next set I buy be some kind of wooden needle. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this envelope. The bag is from K Jones. I got it a long time ago, and it's not quite Christmas yet, but I needed a bag, and I've been hoarding this yarn in this bag, so I just kept it in there, and it's close enough. in my opinion. But I've been really having fun learning and knitting with that. I showed you that. Okay, let's see what's in this one. Yeah. So this is the baby sweater. I finished both of the sleeves, but I have a problem. I'm gonna need to take this to the ladies at my local knit shop because I cannot figure out. It's just not looking. It's not working the way it should, and I don't know what I did wrong, but it's got to be something I'm doing wrong. I'm not okay. See how the front of this? See how the neck looks right there, the neckline? Well, mine isn't going to look like that. Look, I'm going to try to show you this. I can't really see what you're seeing, but it's not that same shape. And I can't just knit this together and start knitting across because that little hole might not be big enough, and it'd make it like a V-neck. So that's an option I've been thinking, but I'm not sure if that's going to be big enough for the head to go through. Or if I should add some stitches in between and just kind of make it a square neck. But before I make a decision, I want to take it to the ladies at my local yarn shop. And I probably won't go there until I'm feeling better. And so this has got to go back into a little bit of hibernation. But it's cute. This is the back. I mean, it's going to be cute. Ugh. Anyway. And I really want to make, so I need to make Lisa she wants a sweater and she likes cabling. So I want to find a sweater that's not too hard that I can make for her with some cabling either down the sleeve or down the front or something. And I want to make myself one. So, and I kind of want to use, for both of those actually, I want to use a chunkier yarn. Just since it's really my first real sweater other than that baby sweater, and I've not had the best luck with that. And in the past, I've been afraid of seaming, and that's why I have never done one. But I've been reading up and watching some videos on YouTube on seaming, and I think I'm ready to try that. If you have any sweater suggestion, I think I'm thinking about like the Rift sweater by Jared Flood. For me, I haven't really looked for Lisa a sweater. I want to find out if, because she likes really neutral cream colors, so I'm kind of thinking like an Aran sweater. But I need to ask her if she would prefer if she prefers a sweater that's more fitted or a little more ease in it, like, or whatever. I don't know. And then lastly, I've been knitting on my memory blanket. Did you see what Sarah Hepworth posted? What is she? She did like 250 squares on her memory blanket in a week. Less than a week. I've added some. I'm really having fun with this blanket. I only have like 5 more mini skeins left. So I'm going to have to get a hold of some more mini skeins pretty shortly. I have a couple I can swap, but I don't really have that. That's all I have. So I'm probably going to end up having to actually go on like Etsy or something and buy just like minis. And I do have some leftovers, obviously from these squares, but and I was thinking I would use them because especially the stripy ones, they're gonna look totally different in the next section. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to put them in this section. I want to do it like later toward the end of the blanket or whatever, so they're not all together, just in case they do kind of look the same. Sorry. Hmm. Okay. What's next? Oh, yarn box. So I don't remember if I mentioned, but I used to have the yarn box sock club and the classic. Well, I cut out the sock club, but I still have the yarn box classic, and I like the classic because it actually comes in a box. And I know that sounds silly, but I was having issues with when they come in like the plastic baggy thing. But if you're calling yourself yarn box, it needs to come in a box, right? Anyway, this is a really neat yarn that they sent, and it's called Andy Had a Little Lamb. um, it's from Farmhouse Yarns. Um, so Andy's Merino is 100% single ply merino yarn, raised, spun, and hand dyed in the USA. Give the yarn a squeeze and experience the same spring and bounce that captured another heart long ago. Each box contains a 2-color palette totaling 3 skeins of 575 yards of air and weight yarn. And they sent some, they always give you some patterns. But here's the yarn. This is a very woolly yarn. It, you can still see some of the dirt, kind of, not dirt, but like flecks of stuff, um, like hay or whatnot, in it a little bit. Um, it's not, um, itchy or anything. It's not super, I mean, it's not super soft. It is really, really bouncy, springy. Um, but it just feels like proper wool. And that's really cool. And I like single ply. I love knitting with yarn like this. So they sent me two. They sent me a white, and then this is green, and it's like, oh, there you can tell. It's like variegated, kind of like a lighter and a darker. I'm not sure what I will knit with this, but it'll probably be whatever the pattern thing they made for this, because I don't. There's not enough to do like a sweater or anything like that. And the yarn is nice and everything, and I do like green. But it's just not something that I'm like. I didn't like necessarily fall in love with it, but just the tag. That's Angie. um, so that's really cool, though. I mean, so I'm not disappointed at all or anything with this, but I just don't know what I would knit with it. It doesn't feel like I don't know. I just would want to use all of these yarns together in the same project, and the thing that they sent was kind of neat looking. So it was kind of up close view, so I need to look better at it. Anyway, okay. couple more yarny things to talk about. One is if you're interested in the doing a knitted or crocheted uh, ornament swap with me, let me know. I'll be more than happy to knit something up. But I always have like 3 Christmas trees, and this year I want one of my smaller trees to be all like knitted, crocheted, handmade ornaments. So if you want, send me a message on Ravelry, and so we can swap addresses. There's been a few people sign up already. I'm super excited, or not really signed up, but said that they were interested. So I'm really excited about that too. And then the other thing is, I should be coming out with a new pattern very soon, I hope. I need to, so basically have it written up now. And it's called the Growing Flowers Cowl. Um, it's what it's called. I need to go and buy another yarn, a wool yarn to knit it up with, because I like to knit with the pattern that I write and make sure that it kind of makes sense. So I want to do that, but I want it to pick out a yarn that will show off the pattern. So I don't want anything that's too. I have yarn that's kind of a green color, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I gotta find the right color yarn and the right type of yarn. And I just don't have that in my stash. So once I get that, sorry, I was gonna sneeze. Once I get that yarn, I'm gonna get that knitted up and hopefully find a couple of people who can test knit it pretty quickly, and then get that published. So that's exciting. So yeah, the last thing I want to talk about was a Nurse Codi section. And I was going to talk to you about viral illnesses, viral infections. And I'm obviously no expert or whatever, but this is what I know and what I see from working in the field that I work in. And a lot of people go to the doctor, or they take their kids to the doctor because they might have a little fever, they have a stuffy, runny nose, a cough, all this junk. And it's been lasting for like 3 or 4 days. They got a headache. Their throat might hurt a little bit. And some people don't even, especially some people go and they don't even have fevers. Here's the deal. Just being straight up honest with you. We can't fix a viral illness. There's no antibiotics are not going to fix a viral infection. Like the cold, that's a virus. Your common cold or whatever, that's a virus. Taking antibiotics is not going to make you get over it any faster. Isn't going to make you feel better. Nothing like that. In America, at least, we over prescribe antibiotics, and it's not. And so a lot of the bacteria, etc., are becoming resistant to the antibiotics, and that's because we give antibiotics for everything. And just because your snot is green doesn't mean you have an infection. Just because you feel like And just because you feel like crap, like you've been, you know, like this, that doesn't mean that you need an antibiotic. Unfortunately, viral infections like your cold, your upper respiratory infections, things like that, um, you just gotta tough it out. I mean, so what we recommend, if you were to come into my office, and you don't have fevers, um, you're just complaining of the same things that I have: a stuffy nose, runny, a lot of drainage on the back of your throat kind of itches, hurts a little, um, your head just feels all stuffed up, a little bit of a cough, um, you probably have a viral infection. And what I'm going to do for you is encourage you to drink lots of water, and also just it's supportive care or symptom management. So if you're having a stuffy nose, I'm going to tell you to take something over the counter for a stuffy nose, a decongestant. And if you seem to believe that it's related to allergies, changes of seasons, I'm going to suggest that you take an over the counter allergy medication. Um, and those things, um, sometimes those allergy meds take a couple of days to really get into your system and start actually blocking your body's response to the allergen. So the pollen doesn't make you sick, but your body is, for allergies, is sensitive to that, and it sends out like this army of um, little fighter soldier things, and they kind of just attack this pollen and clump up around it, surround it, kill it, and try to get rid of it. In that process, you have all these things like mast cells and stuff, um, that secrete all this, cause you to have all this mucus and drainage and yuckiness. Similar thing for virus. Your body's attacking that, and the result of your own immune system attacking that virus gives you some of the symptoms. Particularly, the immune system attacking the pollen really gives you the itchy, watery eyes, stuffy nose. A virus can make you sick and cause symptoms, but also sometimes your body's response to that also causes some of the symptoms that you have. Sorry. Um, so, virus illnesses can last like 2 weeks, and that's miserable. You can't breathe at night. You toss and turn all day. You're sneezing and runny nose, and your nose is sore from blowing it so much. And I know I'm going through it right now, and it's miserable. I know, and I just wanted to talk about it because I probably well, last week I saw a whole lot of kids come in for the same symptoms, and that's probably where I got all this from, is from those little cute little nuggets that just don't feel good. So if you do have a kid and they're having this, a lot of times sometimes kids will have a fever with this stuff. Usually adults don't really have fevers with just a little cold necessarily. Sometimes you do, but not always. But kids can get fevers. What I want to tell you about that is, and they can get pretty high. But what I want to tell you about that is, when kids have fevers, if they're up playing and running around and doing their thing, acting like it's not bothering them, but their fever is 102, you don't have to give them Tylenol. I mean, a fever is one of the ways that your body fights off infection. And if the kid doesn't seem to mind having that fever, then you don't need to give them Tylenol or anything to break that fever. Now, if your kid has 102-degree fever, or even 100-degree or 101 degree fever, and that's in Fahrenheit, just so you know. It'd be what, like 38, 39, or somewhere around there, Celsius. 40 maybe? I don't remember. Somewhere in the low 40s, upper 30s. um, if if they are just not feeling well, they're just laying around, kind of whiny, just, you can tell when a kid doesn't feel good. If they don't feel good in their fever, then yeah, you want to give them some Tylenol. And that's not to bring necessarily the fever down, but that's to make them feel better. There's really no research that really supports alternating Tylenol and ibuprofen. So you just want to be careful. Don't overdose. So read the labels on the bottles and make sure you don't give it more than recommended. Because Tylenol can be pretty toxic to the liver. But yeah, so that's kind of my little spiel about viral illnesses. It's a lot of just symptom management. Now, if you're having now if your kid is like pulling at their ear and stuff like that, and has then it's not bad to bring them to the doctor to make sure they don't have an ear infection. Because sometimes kids, because this sinus infection or this sinuses and blah blah, it can turn into sinus infections, and it can also turn it, all that drainage can get in your ear, and that can sit there, and then it can turn into an infection. So if it's been like a week, and they started off having all these symptoms, and now they're having some fevers, and their ears they're pulling at their little ears like they're hurting, for the little bitties, they may have an ear infection. That's a reason to go to the doctor to make sure. Depending on the situation, a lot of times we are doing a watch and wait with ear infections. If this is like the first one they've had, we may watch it and see if it gets better on its own. If they have an ear infection every 3 months, we'll probably go ahead and treat it. And then if you're having this symptoms for longer than 2 weeks, if you're having fevers for longer than 4 or 5 days, then go to the doctor just to make sure you don't have some kind of bacterial infection, which does require an antibiotic. Most of the time, though, your body eventually is going to take care of it itself. You're just going to be miserable for a couple of weeks. So some other like symptom management things. Let's see. I really like the Vicks. I mean the Puffs Plus Kleenexes because they have some lotion on there and it's not so rough on your nose. And they have some with Vicks in them, which is nice, especially if you have like a really clogged up sinuses and it's putting a lot of pressure. The Vicks in the tissue can help open that up a little. Excuse me. And and then you can buy Vicks and just put a little bit, under your nose or on your chest, depending on how bad you are. Humidifiers, especially for kids, are really great to keep everything kind of moist. Encourage lots of fluids, and that kind of thing. you may not have much of an appetite, but if they want, especially, I mean, adults, I'm going to tell you, make yourself eat and get over it. Have smoothies or whatever. Just something, you don't have to eat like huge meals, but you want to eat and get those vitamins and stuff that you need. But kids, you want to, if they only thing they want is, I don't know, a popsicle, then give them a popsicle. We just don't want them to get dehydrated with fevers, especially. But encourage them to drink Pedialyte and things like that. Pedialyte is good for adults too if you're dehydrated. Gatorade, Pedialyte. Just don't get dehydrated. Especially if you're taking medicines like decongestants, like Mucinex and things like that. Mucinex will, and those kind of things, they really dry you up, and you really, really need to drink a lot of water, because it not only dries you up here, but it dries you up everywhere, and you really need to be drinking a lot of water, liquids, and I don't mean like Coke and stuff like that. I mean water, green tea, not stuff with a bunch of sugar or whatever. You need to be water. Maybe some tea is okay unless you fill it with sugar and milk. But yeah, you really need to stay hydrated. Anyway, my throat is about to be gone, and I can't believe it's been, 55 minutes, and I made it this far. Anyway, I hope you all are having a good week, and I hope you are not having stuffy noses. But it's kind of going around here. So, I hope you're having lots of fun knitting and crocheting and whatever, sewing, and whatever else crafts you are indulging in. And I hope you have a good week to come. And I will see you all soon. Bye.
To show you how to do the center part to get the spine of the half and half cowl all lined up. So let me just keep knitting here. So you all know how to knit. This is very awkward. Sorry. Almost there. The reason I started here is I want to show you. Okay, right here. I want you to notice, okay, here, so what you need to do is, and what I had to do, is really figure out how to read my knitting. And if you look here, this is your yarn over from your previous round. These two stitches look like purl stitches, right? See the purl bumps? That would be knit stitches. So what you want to do is you want to knit all the stitches until you get to, you see this little thing here? The yarn over and this stitch, they look like they go together. They look like they're kind of married together a little bit. So what you want to do is you want to knit. So I'm going to knit all of these. And then, so let me do that real quick. So knit. I got one more before the two married ones, so knit again. And you'll see it kind of looks weird, right? So once you knit that one, you're into this section here. And what you do here is you go ahead and do your yarn over, right? And then knit the next two. Knit this one, the one that's married and go ahead and knit the one that's an actual yarn over.